Hello everyone and welcome to another third-party review over on the KO Electables channel, brought to you by TF Direct. Now we got this one slightly ahead of schedule again. This is from Magic Square. Now companies, in my opinion, have to be careful. This is the Magic Square's Optimus Prime, their kind of MP10 counterpart, and yet again, this is another company releasing a premium paint scheme later on. Companies just have to be careful with this, I think, because if people get wise, they won't buy the initial product, and these premium versions will never come about. You know, if people knew that this version is going to come out slightly further down the line, they're going to avoid buying the initial release. So why not give us the premium version straight off the bat? This one comes in the standard kind of Magic Square packaging. Quick turn around the box, nothing particularly new. I think it's pretty much the same as the first release, only this one has a spanking new paint scheme. Now here we have him out of his plastic prison, and he comes with all of the accessories that we've had previously, including the axe, the additional battle damage segments that go over the waist, and the additional alternative headpiece with the difference in peak. Now this one's done much more metallic, and it's definitely kind of more in keeping with the colours that Sakara, etc. have given us. It's got that pearlescent tint to it, much like we got with their Ultra Magnus. But I think the problem lies when we bring in the likes of the Transformers Element version of Optimus Prime. As you can see, the reds are very similar, albeit the red on the new Magic Square is more rich. In comparison, they've gone for those silver thighs and the two-tone of blue on those legs. The main reason I got rid of the original Magic Square Optimus Prime was that kind of matte, almost pastel colouring they did on him. So this, in my opinion, is a vast improvement, but is it better than the TE Prime? You know me, the TE Prime is one of my favourite figures at present, but Magic Square does have the amazing articulation. We've got these butterfly joints on the shoulders, we've got an abdominal crunch, the ratchets on the thighs are almost as good as friction joints. They're so slight, whereas if we look at the TE Prime, those are really big step ups when it comes to his leg spacing. The colour on this in general is really clean and smooth. Now this is pre-production, it was a sample that was sent over to TF Direct, so the final version may differ slightly, but 99% of these samples don't change whatsoever. I know a few people have painted up the backs of their windows. Of course, we do get the replacement damaged windows as well, which we could change out. So I'll include a link just up here of how to do that. I'll show you the video for the original Magic Square, and of course we get that matrix of leadership as well. I do like the eyes on this Prime as well. Those are really bright, vibrant blue. Actually, the head sculpt itself is one of my favourite parts of this figure, but that being said, I know TF Direct have the replacement head in for TE Prime. I think they're selling them for like 99 cents plus $5 shipping, I think. Whether they should be free or not, that's another story. In terms of articulation, head can look up, down, left and right, much the same as MP10. We have this butterfly joint forwards and backwards. We can come out to the sides on a ratchet. There's even a rotation in that arm as well. There's a rotation on the bicep. We get not one, but two bends on that elbow. There's rotation on the wrist and pinned articulation on those fingers. We do get the waist rotation and that abdominal crunch. We get hip skirts to the side and rear joined, and we get a hip skirt to the front, allowing for range this far forwards, this far back, out to the side, upper thigh rotation, and a lovely double jointed bend on the knee with a piston just finishing off the full range, and then we get pivot on those feet, as well as some up and down independently on the toe and heels. So as much as I'm not a fan of necessarily everything this figure does, posability and the ability to look damn good while doing it is definitely something this figure has going for it. And I mean, he really does look good wielding his gun and his Energon axe, doesn't he? He looks ready for battle. And I think when we bring in figures like the Infinite Transformation Megatron, my favourite version of the Megatron mould, it becomes quite apparent that both him and TE Prime do look exceptional alongside him. Maybe the Magic Square looks a little bit too stocky. Not entirely sure. He's very broad-shouldered Prime, isn't he? But I really don't think you're going to be disappointed with whichever version of Prime you decide to go for. Unfortunately, I have, without a shadow of a doubt, replaced my MP10. There's no going back now. These are exceptional figures and really do unfortunately show the age of the MP10. I really do feel that Takara is really going to have to go some to beat these with their version 3. These are really good interpretations of Prime and for a fraction of Takara's cost. Now, as gorgeous and as shiny as this Prime looks, let's get him transformed up into his truck mode and see how that fares. How does that look alongside the MP10 trailer? To get Prime transformed up, you want to remove all of his weapons. You just want to straighten out these arms for now and bring those out to the side. Make sure that they're pulled away from the torso. Open up this chest on both sides, and when we lift up this like so, we can bring out this section. That's going to rotate around like this, and then holding on to the grill, we can then rotate the lower section as well. Now, much like MP10, this whole panel piece here will rotate and will then rotate around like so. In fact, the transformation is very similar indeed, but you want to keep it just at the bottom for now because it's all going to tab in to the front of this grill. The arms will come back. They will then rotate at the upper bicep, not the lower bicep, the upper bicep. The arms untab like so. Flick up from the wrist, and then this whole section here is going to come down. This tab folds up, and that's going to fold down like so, and then we're going to bring the fist inwards. The door panel folds out and push and rotate the forearm so this is in line with the smokestack. Bring that up to the side, and then using this hinge here, you're going to hinge the door around and around like so. This is then going to come inwards, push and lock in, bring this down, and these arms are just going to fold inwards. And with these sections in, you can then bring this section in, tab this in, then bring the chest over, and this will then tab in as well. Open up the back of the head. Prime's head squares off, and we're going to rotate that around, and it's going to sit perfectly on the underside, and then these skim past. This squares off, and that tabs in perfectly. Now that the cab is beautifully constructed and tied, we can just rotate its waist piece around, and this is going to come upwards like so. Come around to the backs of the legs. These are going to fold down, and then giving this leg a little wiggle allows us to bring these panels here upwards like so. Fold these tabs down, pull this hinge here outwards, to rotate and rotate like so. This hinge here then rocks backwards. While the leg is separated, flip this tab around. We're then going to bring this leg back in. This is going to push in like so. The wheels are going to straighten up like this and come to the underside. This tab here is going to collapse in like this, tab into the underside of those wheels, and then this tab here comes up, closes off like so, and then we've got the tabs for the trailer hitch. And there we have him fully transformed up into his vehicle mode. Still really disappointed that we don't have a trailer hitch to allow this to connect to the MP10 trailer. The separation between the two areas is just too great. Maybe we'll get our own kind of G1 style animation trailer to go with this from Magic Square, but again, that is really a disappointing factor that we have this adaptation on the top here to make a trailer hitch, but we don't have anything in return that allows this to actually connect to MP10's trailer. I do love how this looks though, and I do like the fact that we have these faux doors that we can kind of have left open, and we can have our figures pretending to kind of climb in. We do get a single seat in the center here as well. The only downside to that being you can't open these windows whilst the doors are attached. You have to kind of drop the doors out of the way to gain access to that seat back, which is a slight design issue, if I do say so myself. And comparing him to the MP10, here they both are. This is of course the Optimus Shine, the really shiny chrome-tastic knockoff. Now correct me if I'm wrong, what are we meant to do with these smokestacks at the back? Are they meant to slide down on this slider? Slides down and they touch the base here, or are I meant to slide that all the way up and then slide them up to the top so that they're nice and high? I'm really not sure how they're meant to go. I think up nice and high like that is the way forward. Now, while he doesn't fit the MP10 trailer, I do still love how he looks with that UFO trailer attached into, although he does look slightly too small for that, doesn't he? The MP10 one is definitely the right scale. It's just a shame we never got that adapter. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you already have the Magic Square Optimus Prime? What do you think about them delivering these premium paint versions after the initial release? I know that people like Fans Toys do it as well, but I know they have their own market for their Premium X series, so maybe they can get away with it. But what about companies like Magic Square? Do they have the market and the following to justify giving us the really nice repaints a few months after their original versions were released? Thanks again to TF Direct for making this review possible. If you found it useful, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, share, and of course subscribe. And until next time, for myself and the Magic Square Optimus Prime Premium Paint Edition, goodbye.